He didn't like how Max Sleazy and his gang were making so much money in his town at his expense. One day he went to Sly's salon to stir up some trouble. While there, he solicited the talents of one of Sly's workers, but after he did the deed, Conan refused to pay. He also tried to assault the woman, but luckily, she was able to fight back and escape the room. She ran right to Max Sleazy, who was outside the salon tending to his horses, and immediately told him what happened. Sly entered the salon just as Conan the Terrible was making his way downstairs. "You dare to leave here without paying?" Max Sleazy said to Conan the Terrible. "Look here, nigger. I don't like your kind, and I says you get the fuck out of my way, or some bad things are going to happen to you," Conan responded. At this point, the whole salon is watching, and everyone is on the edge of their seat at this epic showdown between two of the most dangerous men in the Wild West. Max Sleazy walks closer to Conan. He gets close enough to where they are basically standing nose to nose. Conan reaches for his pistol, but before he can grab it, Sly had already cocked his hand all the way back to Alabama and slapped Conan so hard that his jaw dislocated and several teeth went flying across the room. He hit the ground hard, and the entire crowd gasped as terrible Conan lay on the floor asleep like a baby. Bubba then relieved Conan of all his pistols and defenestrated him out of a nearby window. After that, Conan was thrown on a nearby horse, and he rode off into the sunset unconscious, tied to the back of a stallion. Over the next few months, he wore the handprint of Max Sleazy on the side of his face. The slap was so damaging and vicious that the ring Max Sleazy wore on his pinky was permanently etched into the face of Conan the Terrible. After this event, Sly knew he needed to get back up, so he sent word to the other McDonald slaves back in Alabama. He wrote a long message explaining how he was very successful in California and could use some of his old friends and family to help him run that business. Not only this, but he can also offer them freedom. He told them about his friend Harriet Tubman and how she could help them escape west. Not knowing if this message would reach any of the slaves on the plantation, and even if it did, would they be able to escape Alabama and find their way to Hangtown? He didn't have a lot of hope that even one person would make it. But within weeks, several former slaves had made the journey down to Hangtown. Of those who came, several were former slaves that he was family with, and many others were young teenage upstarts looking to make a way for themselves. Several others were just escaped slaves who came west looking for greener pastures and got word that Max Sleazy was looking for help. It was like a family reunion with Max Sleazy, now reminiscing about his days in Alabama, his friends from the plantation. He even remembered his good friend Billy. Tells me all about your trip and how you escaped at that plantation in Alabama," Sleazy said to one of the slaves, John, who he remembers from the plantation back in Alabama. "Well, we kind of just got here pretty easy, I say," John responds back. Several men nod in agreement, with nonchalant expressions, suggesting the trip wasn't very eventful. Max Sleazy, remembering his escape to the West just last year prior, it required him to launch a rebellion at the workhouse, along with killing several armed stagecoach robbers en route to California. Now, how could they just had escaped bondage and just carelessly arrived here from the South, with no tales of danger along their journey, he thinks. "So y'all didn't have to kill nobody to get out west?" he says in a voice of utter disbelief. "Nope," says John. "In fact, it was almost like them white folks was trying to help us escape. Wouldn't y'all say that?" He gestures to the men who all express their agreement. What Max Sleazy doesn't realize is that it's now December in the year 1862, and times are rapidly changing. Day by day, slavery is becoming less popular, and with rebellions popping up all over, the general public is starting to have a different attitude about keeping people as slaves. Now, any slaves bold enough to escape bondage not only doesn't have catchers looking for them, but also gets support from several different groups which help them escape. When the slaves upon the Underground Railroad found out that this group was heading to meet Sly, one of Sly's old friends Harriet Tubman made sure that they all made it safely with no problems to Hangtown. Of the slaves that came, it was one in particular that caught the eye of the Mac. She was the most beautiful woman Sly had ever seen, and he instantly felt a strong and intense connection. Her name was Mary, and she came all the way from a plantation in Louisiana just to come to Cali chasing gold. Sly made it his duty to get close to her, and although every man wanted a piece of her, it was Sly that she wanted to give her goodies to. Sly approached her. "What made you take this journey to Hangtown?" he asked. "I was looking to come across gold and meet the legendary Max Sleazy," she replies. Max Sleazy realizes he just came across a gold-digging prospect and almost instantly turns her out. In the next few weeks, Mary went from possibly becoming the apple of Sly's eye to quickly becoming one of his best and most successful prostitutes. Why, you may ask? Because this ain't no goddamn love story. This is the Slave Pimp 2, the return of the Mac. Max Sleazy was all about a dollar and knew it wasn't the time for him to be falling in love with no hoes, especially when men from all over Sierra Nevada would love to see him slacking on his mackin'.